101 Facts About Men. In this video, you will learn not only the history of the evolution of men, but also their main differences from women. How does our body work and who pulls the strings? What exactly do we celebrate on November 19th? What is customary to give for it? In which country there are more men than women? What do females pay attention to when choosing a male? How will we look in the future? And of course, who is the strongest, the most handsome, etc. This is not just 101 facts, this is 101 facts about men. Let's start from the beginning. The Stone Age. When Homo sapiens looked like this, they already had some tools and intelligence. In the Stone Age, men were known to hunt for food for days, while a woman kept the hearth and looked after the household. Therefore, then our body was stronger, the bones were larger, the joints were steeler, we had a brow arch. Scientists are not sure, but most likely it protected us from impacts, dust, and the sun. And it was also a social marker. For example, among monkeys that have a similar structure, whoever has the largest brow ridges is the leader of the pack. Over the past 100,000 years, the brow arch has been decreasing the same as our skull. We moved from a nomadic to a sedentary lifestyle, settled down, and stopped running without panties with spears. We started raising livestock and farming, and it naturally affected us. The brow arch is an example of this. Eyebrows are an important element of socialization. We show a lot of different emotions thanks to them, which is exactly what was required with the course of evolution. The word man is believed to originate from Proto-Indo-European, the oldest known language. It is believed to have derived from the Proto-Indo-European root man or manu, which likely meant human being or person. And you ask, who is the woman then? Not a human being? Well, don't think that I'm trying to insult our incredible women. Such a historical fact has even been called androcentrism. That is, a man is the norm and a woman is considered as a deviation. Sexism at its worst. Disgusting, right? Throughout history, men have occupied a central place on the stage of history. They built cities, conquered lands, and created empires, as well as made discoveries that changed the course of human civilization and actively pushed evolution forward. We are so harsh that we cry 6 to 17 times a year when women are 5 times more likely. And all thanks to it. Testosterone, this hormone plays a major role in creating differences between men and women. Testosterone is produced mainly in the testicles of men and a little in the ovaries of women, as well as in the adrenal glands of both sexes. It kind of commands men to develop according to their gender, with broader shoulders, thick facial hair, and a rough voice. Testosterone energizes us, helps muscles to grow, bones to be strong, and supports our sexual desire. It also plays the role of a natural painkiller, making men less sensitive to pain. Testosterone plays a role in our mood and can even make us more confident. Low testosterone levels can make you feel tired, lose interest in life, sexual desire, and so on. But it's okay, breathe. There are ways to maintain healthy testosterone levels: regular workouts, proper nutrition, adequate sleep, and stress reduction. It's like training for our invisible conductor to conduct the orchestra of our body in the best rhythm. Testosterone has a cycle. For example, people over 50 have twice as less testosterone as when they had during their youth. Also, your testosterone is dropping right now. All men and even boys know such a thing as a hard-on in the morning. These are the so-called testosterone cycles, which peak in the morning. Testosterone levels decrease slightly during the day, and its levels are minimal in the afternoon and at night. Therefore, the best time to have a little fun for men is in the morning. However, before becoming proud carriers of testosterone, even at the stage of conception, the sex of a person is determined by a combination of chromosomes, a kind of roulette. You obviously studied this in biology classes, but if you forgot, we have the X and Y chromosomes. For women, XX, for men, XY. Because of these different letters, men even see colors differently. I'm shocked. Because of the 2 X chromosomes, the palette of colors that women see is wider. Therefore, in conversation, women use shades of beige, crimson, and so on. And we just see blue, green, red. It's insignificant. Obviously, we can see these shades. It's just that we have it worse developed. Genetically, we are simpler than women for one simple reason. X chromosomes carry 1,500 genes and Y 100. And you might know that guys are better at navigating space. They memorize the area really well. This is also clearly inherited from our hunter ancestors. But there is another designation for this. So-called cognitive maps differ between men and women. Men perceive space entirely in the form of a schematic map, and women perceive a schematic path. earth and are strongly attached to landmarks. I'll explain now. We remember the space better and we can safely find the way back, and it's really difficult for women to do this, but they can remember familiar objects, some landmarks by the type of signs and houses with a beautiful facade that they liked, and so on. Our multitasking is not so developed than it is for women. It is more comfortable for us to concentrate on one thing than to dance from one to another, and it makes sense. We also have tunnel vision, and women have a wider field of vision, all because of a different structure in our brain. The brain itself is 13% larger and 0.3 pounds heavier than women's. However, the size of the brain does not matter. This is confirmed by Carlos Rodriguez, who lost a piece of his brain and skull in a car accident and continued to live an ordinary life. The same as an elephant has more than 11 pounds of brain. Throughout history, it has been known that men have occupied the highest positions in leadership of anything at all. Patriarchy has been the most popular form of social organization. All rights are for a man and not all for a woman. The beginning of the spread of patriarchy is considered to be the period about 6,000 years ago, 4000 BC, when the concept of fatherhood arose. Today, the vast majority of countries have a patriarchal system. Of course, there are exceptions, such as some nationalities of China, India, and Vietnam, but lately the trend has been towards equality. According to the World Economic Forum and their Global Gender Gap Index, in 2023, the US was at the 43rd place among countries with the highest gender equality rate, and in 2024, it's at the 27th. When someone needs to be understood, someone needs to pull metal. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the most muscular man in the world, Ronnie Coleman, who has won the Mr. Olympia competition 8 times in a row. The strongest man in the world, Hafthor Bjornsson, he lifted 1,104.5 pounds. It's almost like the weight of this guy who is the fattest man in the world, John Bauer. He weighed 1,400 pounds, 2/3 of which he then lost. The smartest William Sidis has 280 IQ points when the base is 100. Genghis Khan, the founder of the Great Mongol Empire in the early 13th century. He has done so many things that now 16 million people are considered his descendants, although some studies call the figure at 200 million. So this is surely the most prolific man in history. According to statistics, the average height of men is 5.7 feet. Despite the fact that the men's height increased seriously over the past 100 years, the average height increase rate in Europe is 4.3 inches, and the tallest men are Dutch. Their average height is 6 feet. Robert Wadlow is considered the tallest with a shocking height of 8.9 feet. The shortest and at the same time the thinnest is Chandra Dangi. He weighed 32 pounds with a height of 1.7, whereas the average weight of a man in the world is 176 pounds, and in the US, 196 pounds. Well, since we're averaging everything here, this is what the typical American man looks like. Oh, what a man. Who saw yourself? Hit the like button, it deserves it. So let's talk about November 19th, the International Men's Day. This holiday was first celebrated in 1999 in Tobago and Trinidad. After that, activists began to rock this topic, and in 2009, the United Kingdom, UNESCO, and just many countries decided to make it official. This day was created to draw attention to discrimination against men. In particular, the importance of the issue of men's health is emphasized. The International Men's Holiday on November 19th always has some kind of theme. In the 2023, for example, the problem of male suicide was the topic. During this day, everyone can congratulate brothers, sons, fathers, grandfathers, and friends. This day is celebrated in different ways in different countries. There are no strict rules to this. Everyone can come up with certain traditions on their own. On November 19th, men most commonly receive clothes and accessories, making up 19% of gifts. Unusual gifts like a dinner at a restaurant, sweets, or fishing gear account for 18%. 15% receive nothing, while shaving supplies are chosen for 8%, and love and attention are given to 5%. Money is the least common gift at just 3%. The most popular male name is Muhammad, and in the USA it's Liam. After that, Noah, Oliver, and James. There are actually more men than women in the world, 50.5% versus 49.5%. According to statistics, it's true that fewer women are born than men, but the life expectancy is quite a bit shorter. Therefore, the statistics are leveled. More than 50% of men are sure that the ideal time to get married is 27, 30 years old. However, practice shows that the vast majority of men still get married earlier. Iceland, Italy, Norway are the countries where the number of men significantly exceeds the number of women. However, in the US, women make up 50.6% of the population, men 49.4%. In 2021, among 50-year-olds, the ratio was close to 100 men per 100 women. Among 70-year-olds, there were only 86 men per 100 women. In the very oldest age bracket, people aged 100 and older, there were only 24 men per 100 women. It turns out that by old age, there are very few men. According to statistics, men live on average 66 and a half years, and women may live as long as 76 and a half years. You know why? Our lifestyle is pretty ridiculous. The best plan is no guts, no glory.
Heel on the gas, let's go.
9 out of 10 deaths at the wheel are male. Suicide in men exceeds the proportion of women by 75%. We also disregard health and do fewer visits to the doctor. According to statistics, men break the law and commit crimes almost 10 times more often than women. By the way, testosterone is involved again because it makes us more prone to risks and adventures. However, this same quality helped our ancestors hunt mammoths and protect the tribe from enemies. We are more prone to cardiovascular diseases. We are more belligerent. When a man is called out, he usually turns his whole body. This is due to the low mobility of the neck and to the hit-and-run protective reflex. There is even a Darwin Awards for the most ridiculous deaths. Judging by the cases, it is almost dedicated to US men. Harry Foy, for example, boasted for many years about the bulletproof glass in his office, and one day, as usual, he jumped on it for show and flew off the 24th floor. The glass didn't break, by the way. Wayne Roth was bitten by a cobra several times, after which he said, "I don't need to go to the hospital. I'm a man. I can handle this kind of stuff." And yes, he died an hour later. An attempt by an Indian taxi driver to take a picture with a bear also didn't end up well. And there are thousands of such cases, but there are also good examples. This Japanese grandfather, Jiroemon Kimura, is considered the longest-lived man in history, as many as 116 years. We care a lot less about clothes than women. We won't worry about another man coming to the party wearing exactly the same clothes. But as for the most handsome man, it will be a little more difficult. In general, the most handsome men in the world are chosen not by women but by surgeons. To do this, they use the golden ratio. The more proportional the face, the more beautiful it is. And in this case, actor Bradley Cooper is at the third place, 91.08%. Henry Cavill is at the second, 91.64%. And Robert Pattinson is at the first place, 92.15%. During the first meeting, women primarily pay attention to our eyes, facial hair, and height. And of course, that's what we also pay attention to. The ideals of the male body have changed over the years. In the 1870s, for example, if you're plump, it means successful. In the 1980s, bodybuilders were on trend. As for today, Brad Pitt's body from Fight Club is considered the benchmark. Male immunity is weaker than female due to fewer antibodies, although the blood volume in men is higher. Our skin is as much as 10 times less sensitive than women's, and the diameter of the hair is twice as large. Contrary to popular misconception, shaving does not make men's beard thicker. The hair visually appears tougher and thicker due to the fact that they have not yet had time to be exposed to the external environment. And the beard of blonde men grows faster than that of brown-haired or dark-haired men. During puberty at the age of 11, 14 voice withdrawal begins, and it doesn't last very long, from 1 to 3 months. That's why your squeaky classmates came after the summer with a base. Men have more square teeth, girls have oval teeth. The Adam's apple is also formed at this time, along with changes in the larynx, but it will not be possible to get a good stretch so quickly. Men's ligaments and muscles have less collagen and elastin, so they are less flexible. Taste, smell, hearing, everything is a little worse than it is in women. Although male vision is considered better, I think you know why. Don't forget we were hunters in the past. According to statistics, 30% of men who saw childbirth with their own eyes then had problems with erection from 2 months to several years. Men don't give birth, do they? Well, there are a couple of ways. There have been cases in history when transgender men got pregnant after a sex change, but Indian Sanju Bhagat definitely did not expect to give birth to his own twin, whom he absorbed in the womb. He had an incredibly rare disease called fetus in fetu. There are still a bunch of unique men in the world. This peasant, Thai Ngoc, from Vietnam, for example, has not slept for about 40 years after suffering from a fever, and he feels all right. Rolf Buchholz is a man with one of the largest numbers of piercings on his body. He pierced himself in about 453 places. Lucky Diamond Rich is the most tattooed man in the world. He even has tattoos on his gums. Another strange man is Frenchman Mikel Lotito with an organism disorder characterized by eating inorganic objects. He's already eaten 17 stones of metal in his life. Yu Xianjun is one of the most hairy people in the world. His body is covered with 96% hair, which is the result of a rare disease called hypertrichosis. Stan Lee is the man with the longest nails on one hand. He has grown them for over 60 years, reaching a total length of over 5 feet before they were cut in 2018. Men are truly fascinating creatures, different and dynamically changing, as it turns out. Regarding our future, anthropologists and scientists have two pessimistic pictures about us. This is if we get into accidents and evolution adjusts our body so that it can survive accidents, and this is if we spend too much time staring at the computer and playing computer games. However, I am sure that we will be like this, at least my viewers for sure. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.